These are the main threats to the integrity of the materials in archives everywhere. Archivists face a constant struggle to manage and control these 7 factors while still providing researchers access to the materials held in the archives. So how do we deal with such threats? Well, through a set of carefully adhered to practices that we will show you now. First, wash your hands with soap and dry them thoroughly before handling any archival material. Sometimes you'll see archivists wearing white gloves. We have them here too and wear them occasionally, but we don't wear them all the time. We wear gloves primarily when handling photographs to keep the oil from our fingers off the prints. Finger oil will ruin photographs quickly. On the other hand, when handling old, fragile manuscripts, it's actually best not to wear gloves because gloves can catch on the edges of the paper and tear them. Now let's talk about the history of paper and other writing mediums as a way to help you understand why we do some of the things we do in the archives. The earliest form of paper was called papyrus. It was made in Egypt from the papyrus plant which grew on the Nile. Incidentally, some of the earliest New Testament fragments that have survived the ages were written on papyrus. Around the 2nd or 3rd century, animal skins began replacing papyrus as the favorite writing medium because of their durability and because of the fact that they didn't have to be imported from Egypt. These materials, called parchment or vellum, are very stable and last a long time if kept relatively dry. Animal skins actually like the oils that come from human hands, thus they like to be handled and used. Most modern pre-industrial era paper is what we call rag paper and is made from discarded textiles such as cotton. This too is a very stable paper and with proper care can last a long time. However, too much handling is still not good for it. Even modern high cotton content papers do not deteriorate as rapidly as those with low or no cotton fiber. If you do a thesis or guided research paper at ACU, the copies you submit for binding must be printed on white paper which has at least 25% cotton fiber. Most paper manufactured since the Industrial Revolution is made from wood pulp. Wood pulp paper became popular because it could be manufactured and sold much less expensively. The drawback is that wood pulp paper contains lignin, an organic compound which decomposes to an acid that over time will break down the fiber of the paper and make it become yellow and brittle. The paper we use in the archives is 25% cotton and chemically treated to be acid-free and lignin-free. Of course, in the archives, most of the papers and manuscripts that we acquire were not printed on acid-free paper, and it's not practical, or in some cases even desirable, to transfer them to acid-free paper. Thus, our goal is to preserve them as best we can and to prevent acid migration, that is, to prevent acid from migrating from one document to another. We do this by placing the papers in acid-free folders and the folders in acid-free archival boxes. We separate pages within folders by placing a sheet of acid-free paper between each page. Because some of these old papers are brittle and unstable, it's important that we handle them properly. Generally, it's best to handle fragile documents by holding diagonally opposite corners, supporting the document at its strongest points.